Yeah, so our view is that bond yields are structurally low, but volatile this year. And the volatility comes from, the temporary inflation that you talked about before, the oil price movements, the bottlenecks that we are going to have. And those are real. And that basically will continue to lead to some volatility in the bond market until May or so, when that CPI starts to plateau. After that, we do think that bond yields are structurally capped by the globalization, which keeps, especially of the labor market, which keeps inflation low, the global savings surplus, global aging, etc. So we think anything above 150 is actually an overshooting, but the problem obviously is that until that CPI figure starts to stabilize after May, you may continue to have volatile markets. So that's why we diversify. We are cyclically exposed. We do think the recovery is helpful, but we do have some inflation hedges and some bond yield hedges on through, for example, financials and through the materials.
Willem, what do you make of a view about decoupling now in the stock market away from technology names, an area of the market that has been a huge component of the broader S&P 500? Do you see that happening? Is it possible to have resilience in these cyclical areas that have been hard hit by the pandemic, and technology stocks to either go sideways or fall at this point?
Well, I think that the winners of the lockdown are not necessarily the losers of the vaccine in a certain way. I think basically what people are doing is diversifying their stock exposure after several years of technology being almost the sole engine driving equity markets higher. I think for the moment you actually have a much healthier situation where that cyclical recovery is helping you to find opportunities in these other sectors as well, which should benefit from that reopening and from the consumer recovery, the manufacturing recovery that we're seeing. So that rotation is not only a negative sign about technology, or about valuations in the technology sector. It's also a vote of confidence in these other sectors.